Hello everyone, I'm Luxin, and before getting into the actual topic of this video, don't worry, there's going to be an actual Xenoblade video later today, and second off, I know I've been making a lot of not directly Xenoblade things recently. That will change. I'm going to get right back into weekly Xenoblade videos and kind of weaning off on the non-Xenoblade stuff. It was just kind of a weird period of time, and unfortunately my channel suffered a bit from it because I just hit 10k and now I'm doing a lot worse in terms of views than I did when I was at 8k. So I screwed myself over a bit there. Beyond this video, I have one video planned that's not Xenoblade related that I'm going to talk about here, and then the only non-Xenoblade series, as a whole thing that I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future, is going to be So I Did the Thing, which is just literally a series that I created so I could talk about things that aren't Xenoblade, and that is going to keep on this channel. So, the 10k sub survey has gotten 740 responses as of the time I'm making this, and I'm going to base my response to the survey results based on these 740 responses. I was originally going to wait until I got like a even 1,000, but I figure 740 is roughly 7% of the 10,300 I got now, and that's a pretty big sample size and is definitely bigger than most YouTubers would get. I'm lucky that I'm still growing, so a lot of my subscriber base is people who are actively watching my videos. So I asked a bunch of questions on the survey, and I'm going to go through the general response curve to all of them and talk about what my response to that's going to be. The first one is the big one, which is why I put it first, which is covering Xenogears and Xenosaga. Now, interestingly enough, especially relative to responses to a different question, this actually got a lot more opposition than I thought. Now, yeah, this is overwhelmingly in the positive, in case you can't tell, and, like, well, yeah, the neutral bar is bigger than the sorta good bar, while much smaller than the definitely do it bar. The goods combined totally outweigh the neutral and obviously outweigh the negative, but that's actually over 10% people said they don't want me to cover older games. And that's a lot bigger than I thought I'd get, and honestly, if you don't want me covering the thing means you'll unsubscribe and stop watching my other videos, that big of a margin of people saying no is probably in my best interest not to do it, but that's what the additional feedback thing was for. And I'm not going to go over anyone's individual feedback. It just kind of happens that the first three are things that said no, so I'm going to leave it on that and just talk about the actual bars here. But in the additional feedback, the people telling me that they wanted me to cover the older games were incredibly impassioned and really enthusiastic in general to hear my opinions and what I could make of these other games, while the only people who actually made arguments against them were very bad arguments. I'm not going to repeat them because if I call you out directly, you're going to feel bad, and I want to tell you I disagree without directly attacking you, even if I'm remaining anonymous. But yeah, no one, even though that's a large amount of people saying they don't want it, I'm willing to take the L in terms of viewers just for doing something that I know the majority of people feel strongly about when the people against it couldn't really defend their position much anyway. So that leads me, I'm going to go a bit out of order here, to the Patreon question, which is really weird because if you look at this, the don't care bar is much bigger and the I'm okay with that bars are a bit smaller in combined compared to these ones, but the no bars are much smaller than the no bars for people that said no Gears and Saga, which makes zero sense because, as I wrote in the question, the first goal for the Patreon would be raising money so I could play Gears and Saga. So less people want me to open a Patreon to be able to play the games than who don't want me to play the games and cover them on the channel. I don't know what that means. I have a feeling a lot of people didn't read the survey very well, so that's also leading me to take some of these responses with a grain of salt. But obviously, it's gonna be a huge amount of time if I just fund it based off of ad revenue alone. So I will be opening Patreon at some point. I'm not sure when that's going to be exactly. It's still gonna be a while because honestly, when I say first goal would be to raise funds for Gears and Saga, that probably means I'm literally going to have Patreon open so you can donate towards me being able to cover those games, as opposed to having it being a consistently open thing where it's, yeah, you're donating just to give me money to cover expenses, and I'm promising you that my first goal is to buy the stuff I need to do that. It's literally going to be, you are donating towards me being able to play Gears and Saga. So I really don't know what I would do for rewards there. Like, I'd obviously probably on the Xenogears video have a list thanking everyone who donated and just being like that kind of thing. But since I don't know how long it would take to get the money, I also don't know like what monthly or weekly rewards I could do. So that's going to take some time in the shop to figure out. So if you want to give me money, Patreon wise, hold on to it. I promise eventually you will be able to give it to me. I'm just trying to figure out how. Beyond that though, sponsored videos, people were less against that than they were for Gears and Saga as well, which is really weird. I'm honestly flabbergasted, even though it's still a small amount, so many people don't want me to cover it, because even if you only care about the Blade games, they're still important in explaining why certain things in those games are the way they are, but I digress. Sponsored videos, less positive, more neutral, and slightly more no than Patreon, so it's not really a sizable difference, but I'm probably going to go towards Patreon more than sponsored, because I haven't gotten any... I have, full disclosure, I have gotten people offering to sponsor videos before, none of which I've felt strongly enough about to actually do it, and I don't think I'm a big enough channel currently to get ones for things that, like, I'd be, really into wanting to do. So I'm probably going to hold off on that in favor of Patreon when it comes to raising additional money beyond ad revenue. Then we've got streaming another game. This got, I think this is the biggest, okay, no, it's the second biggest 4 bar. So 4 was, yeah, I do approve, I would want you to do that. 5 is strongly. So I do know at least one person who is someone I know personally, so I'm okay with indirectly calling them out on this one, who misread it and thought 1 was good and 5 is bad. 1 was bad, 2 was less bad, 3 was neutral, 4 was good, 5 was very good. So it's too late now since making this video on it, but I'd just like to clarify that. So a lot of people said to stream another game like I did for Monado Mondays. I accidentally deleted all of my files for X, so currently the X stuff I'm running off of is a download of the Let's Play I did, so instead of the raw recordings I used to make that, I re-downloaded the videos from YouTube, so they're slightly less quality. But if I wanted to replay X for that, I'd probably do it on my own time. I wouldn't Let's Play it again, because it's eh. So I'm probably not going to stream other Xenoblade games, and I definitely won't stream Gears and Saga when I first play them, because that's kind of going to be like a really personal thing to me. So I wouldn't want to quote-unquote ruin that by having to keep up my entertaining persona by streaming it. So I don't know what I would stream and Let's Play in the long run, but what I do know is the next thing I'm interested in streaming is the GBA Golden Sun game. So Wayward Wednesdays is the working title, because you got to keep the alliteration and a day of the week, because that's the only schedule I have. It was originally going to be Golden Sundays, but that's like an actual thing the community does to honor the anniversary of Golden Sun coming out in Japan, and I don't want to really tread on that for my own gain, especially since the Golden Sun community is so small. I might actually be the first result for that, and I don't want to do that to that big of a community. And while that one is going to be recording footage for something, it's only one video as opposed to an entire series of X stuff, so I feel less bad about that. Also, the games are lower resolution, so it's not going to matter as much anyway. But that then leads to probably the second most negatively received question, opening a second channel for streams or Let's Plays. And a lot of the negative response wasn't, no, I don't want you to do this kind of thing. It was more so concern that second channels never really work out, they tend to die, get small audiences, and that kind of thing. And my response to that is, if it wasn't necessary for me to do that, I wouldn't do it. The large positive response to it does seem to imply, in the other response to streaming other games, heavily implies that people would want to see me just do playthroughs of games as another thing I do as content. But the majority of people who said no to that just want to put that on the main channel. However, we run into the big problem, and that being the YouTube algorithm is complete garbage. I know as a fact that the amount of people who will watch streams and Let's Plays is significantly smaller than the amount of people who watch the Xenoblade videos, and that's fine. I don't care if you don't want to watch that kind of thing. For the most part, I would be doing that for fun, because they're really fun to me. and the fact that people want to watch them is just a bonus. But if the majority of my videos are streams or Let's Plays, where even if I do 2 of that kind of thing a week and 1 Xenoblade video, that's still the majority of my videos that less people than average are watching. That lowers the average amount of people watching a video, even if it increases the watch time, and that screws you over in the algorithm. It's come out recently, it was a big Twitter thread explaining basically why creators like making multiple channels when they do different things, because dividing your audience and having videos that don't get as many views as ones that you want to, it's like, it will screw me over in the algorithm, prevent my Xenoblade stuff, which is my main stuff, it's the thing I want to focus on the most, from reaching more people. It'll also prevent it from reaching the sub boxes of you guys who are there for it, so I don't want content that isn't necessarily the reason you followed me in the first place to prevent that stuff from reaching you. So all in all, it doesn't really matter. The people who do want it just have to subscribe to another channel, and the people who don't want it literally don't have to change a thing, but that also means that the majority of my videos are going to be things that you see, or you want to see. That means that Let's Plays, stream archives, unless I am playing another Xenoblade game at some point, will go on the second channel, as well as things like the Nintendo Direct reactions, which I'm planning on doing more. I'm planning on doing the majority of the E3 things, even though there's less than usual this year. So those would be second channel things. Now, I'm not starting the second channel immediately because I'm probably going to wait until I start Wired Wednesdays to like officially launch it, because that's going to be the first thing that goes up on it. That also means that the stupid announcement videos I did for Monado Mondays, where I said, hey, I'm going to be streaming now when this video goes up, will not be published on either channel. It's probably just going to be, okay, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter to get notifications when I'm starting streaming. I believe YouTube still tells you if I'm live on Twitch, so you'll get that out of it. You just have to pay attention. I could post on the community tab when I'm going live instead of making an actual video. That's less work for me as well. So I'm going to do that kind of thing. Eventually I'll start Let's Playing again. I'm not sure what I do for a first game there. I could even do blind Let's Plays, just of things where I don't care about plot spoilers, so that's always a possibility. So I appreciate your concern with the idea that second channels would die a lot, and yeah, I'm probably going to upload it to it a lot, really sporadically, because like I'm not doing YouTube as a job, and I'd like to focus on the main content. But all things told, it's safer for me and safer for this channel for me to put that kind of thing on a second channel, and if you want it, you can follow that channel. I'm assuming people want it, but just the Octo expansion, first off, I do acknowledge that it was a mistake to do it in 80 parts, but I also acknowledge that, but even if I did it in 40 parts or 30 parts, the small amount of people watching those videos definitely hurt my channel growth for those few months in the long run, and I would have hit 10K a lot sooner had I not done that or done that in a smarter way. So I have experience with being hurt by the algorithm for doing this, so that's why I'm making a second channel. Even the Monado Mondays uploads hurt me too, because not a lot of people watch those. So let's see, what did I cover? I covered old games, I covered second channel, I covered Patreon, I covered streaming, I covered sponsored, and then we get here. Making videos not about Xeno games every now and then. Few people said no to that. A lot of people were, yes, okay, but not strong towards it. And when I say this, I do want to clarify. What I mean is, I want to be the Xeno guy. I'm kind of already the Xenoblade guy, and with your blessing, I do want to branch out into the older games, and I intend to do that, so I'll be the Xeno guy. But I also kind of want to be the Monolith guy, so after I do Gears and Saga, I want to do Baten Kaitos. I might even cover that Dragon Ball Z DS RPG they did, or just kind of other stuff they made, like Disaster Day of Crisis, that kind of thing, and Soma Bringer, which, as a DS game, is probably the most likely one I'm going to do, because there's no way to get it legit in English, so I would have to emulate that, which means it would be easier to record, because I don't have a DS capture card. So, I'm mainly going to be a Monolith and an RPG channel. Which means that my non-Xeno videos are more likely going to be RPG related. I'm gonna say my non-Monolith videos, because Monolith basically just makes RPGs. When their new fantasy action RPG or action game IP comes out, I'd like to cover that. Probably not in the same detail as a Xeno game, because it's not likely to be as deep as one, but I'd like to talk about that. Maybe that could be a Let's Play or something. But the only other series that's like not made by Monolith that I would consider adding to my repertoire of videos that I make, like of series that I make frequent videos and theories and all that kind of analyses of, would actually be Golden Sun, provided it hooks me a lot when I do the streams. And that not necessarily being because I anticipate to love it on the same level as Xenoblade, but because there is definitely a content niche for that series that's not being filled. And basically, I created my own niche for Xenoblade when I made this channel, and being me, now I acknowledge that that niche does not exist for Golden Sun. So while, yeah, there's a smaller audience there, if I like the series enough, I would like to provide myself to that community as the person to fill that niche. Otherwise, though, when I say making videos not about Xeno games, that basically means if I come up with a cool theory or a cool analysis like I did for the Galar region map, that would be the only reason I make videos not about Xeno games. And things that are less edited, like So I Did the Thing or that unscripted Galar analysis, wouldn't count in that, because So I Did the Thing is literally my series for talking about things that aren't Xenoblade. And yes, don't worry, that's coming back. The next thing on that will be the Kingdom Hearts series, so look forward to that shortly. And other small unscripted things, those are easy to do. I'm talking about full edited big theories and analyses like I do for Xenoblade about other games. Those will mostly all be RPGs and will be on a when I think of something cool basis, as opposed to Xenoblade, in the future other Monolith series, and possibly Golden Sun. So when I say branching out, I mean branching out to more of the same, basically, and the other videos that aren't more of the same type of game would be very rare. Then we've got remaking old videos, which are basically my script writing, my commentary, my editing, and all that kind of stuff used to be worse than they are, so I'd remake a few of the older Xenoblade 2 specific videos for the most part. I might remake the where to start or the how to get into the Xenoblade video as well, especially once I play the other games, so I could just do like a big guide on how to experience the Xeno series as a whole. So that kind of thing, but it's mostly going to be a few of the really early ones that are when I was first getting my legs. Probably not the patch reviews, but stuff like the rare blades in one sentence type thing. I definitely want to remake that because I got a few better jokes for the other blades and I want to change up some stuff. So that's going to be coming whenever. I'm not 100% sure on that. Also, funnily enough, the other thing, I just thought of this, I'm sorry, I'm tangenting. The other thing limiting when I create the second channel is actually getting new art for this channel, because I'm going to want to roll over the Finch profile picture to that channel, because I've grown attached to it. I'm sure you guys have grown attached to it by now. And while I do want to sort of change up the design, my current plan is commissioning myself in Tanaka's art style, so that is the art style of the designer for Gears, Saga, and X, as well as the person who designed Shulk, Fiora, and Elma in Xenoblade 2, so that kind of thing. I'm not going to be like one of those guys who talks through his avatar and has it in all the thumbnails and stuff. I'd use it as a profile picture and as a representation of myself, since logistically I can't do camera and having my face in videos, so if I need to like talk through me, I'd be doing that through the avatar. Plus, it's just really cool, and also a representation of me becoming a channel covering all of Xeno and not just Blade, because I'm thinking of going for specifically the Gears art style, because I really love the Gears art style, probably more than all the other ones. So that's ironically another thing limiting that. So I'm going to wait to start Wayward Wednesdays until I have all the new channel art, and yeah. Then we've got making a video explaining how this channel came to be in my video making process. That I'm going to do. That is the thing I was talking about, where it's going to be the last non-Xeno edited video for a while. And that's just going to be me talking about why this channel came to be and a bunch of stuff. That's going to answer the long-standing question of why I love Finch so much. So that's going to be another thing. And that'll, I guess, be a send-off for this profile picture as well. Because it might be special guest, the person who drew that. That remains to be determined. But, yeah, so that's going to be cool. That is going to take a while, probably. It's going to be sooner than the actual 10K special of the Versus Battle. You know, that's another thing. Also, I guess another thing I'm toying with for like a long-running Patreon would be being able to commission artists for stuff for the channel, like thumbnails or specific pieces of art, because there's one long what if that I'm considering starting to do soon. I'm thinking of abandoning the X one for good and just starting over, because I just honestly didn't like the way that one was going, because having to write around a silent protagonist that's also doesn't have a personality is just really hard to do, and I'm thinking of dropping that one and coming up with other X what ifs, but also being able to not feel tied down by that one and being able to write what ifs for other games, namely a very big 2 what if, which would be what if Mithra and Malas's roles were swapped as Aegis's. So that one would be one that would actually involve creations of new characters and require art for that. So that would be another thing to commission artists for. So that could be, I don't really, I'm not doing YouTube as a job. I don't intend to at any, for the time being. So I feel weird about just asking for Patreon money to specifically cover just going straight into my pocket, but I'd feel less bad if people wanted to see me up the production value of the channel. So like, I also could use an editing rig because I'm just using a laptop, which it's a good laptop, but it still lags when I try to do anything in Sony Vegas. So if I made the Patreon a permanent thing, but specifically designed to all the money I make from it goes back into the channel, be it thumbnails or better hardware, that could be a reason to do that. So I still need to figure out the Patreon thing, but that would be another thing to do. So that video will be coming sooner than the versus battle, because I need to like actually write that. I'm gonna probably script that better than I've scripted anything in the past. And then lastly, this is basically a joke question. I was asking, should I make a second Twitter account specifically for video stuff so you don't see all my fan art retweets and just kind of random stuff not related to the channel? Over 100 people said yes, but more than that said no, and the vast majority of people who responded genuinely don't care. So it's literally shaped like a middle finger flipping me off for even asking that question. So I'm gonna say hard no on that one. Follow my Twitter if you have Twitter and haven't been following it already, but that's all I have to say about that. Other feedback I got. I'll talk about this a bit at the end of tomorrow's video, because I actually recorded the audio for that before this one, because that was a planned out one. This is completely unscripted, so I wanted to get that first since this is just rambling, and that would take more takes and kill my voice more. Speaking of scripted though, people have said to script more and stop doing everything in one take. Believe it or not, sometimes I just talk that way, like the way I talk with all the weird pauses and the strange verbal tics. A lot of that is just the way I talk, so even if I have something scripted, these weird inflections and weird pauses and all that kind of stuff, that's just who I am as a person. So it's just more me being weird than me having to come up with stuff on the fly. That being said though, I have made a conscious effort to, even if I don't have a word-to-word script, more discreetly planning out specific things to say. So while I'm probably not going to have, again, a word-to-word script for every video, I'm doing a conscious effort to more plan out things. First off, so it's better for me so I could do things in less takes, and second off, so it seems more organized. The other thing I got was try to shorten videos a bit more, and the next video is about 15 to 16 minutes. The Fonset video was 17, so I've already been implementing that. The really long videos definitely won't go away, because there are some topics that merit it, and I don't feel like doing two-parters for stuff. So that's going to be cool. The next video is going to be making Shulk in D&D, so I have no idea how long that's going to take. That's probably going to be pretty long, because I'm also going to do explaining how D&D works to for people who don't know it along with that way. But yeah, other Patreon stuff would be the raw audio files and the scripts, but when sometimes my plans are just a few bullet notes on a sticky note, I don't have an actual Word document or something that I could save and give to people. And the more I script it, the shorter the raw audio files become. So there's going to be less outtakes to give to patrons. So that's also less stuff to do. Like, I could have people vote on new videos and that kind of thing. Because, like, if the Shulk D&D thing does well and people want to see me do other characters, and I'd be like, yeah, patrons, vote on which character, Xenoblade 1 character party member I'm making in D&D this month, because that's going to definitely be a monthly thing, because I don't want to flood the channel with just D&D videos, because I know a lot of people won't care about those. But I really have to figure out patron rewards. People suggest things for me to do for you if you give me money in the comments, because I'm completely lost on that. Beyond that, though, the vast majority of the messages were congratulations or encouragements, or even thanking me for making videos, or even a few people were saying thank you for getting me through tough times, and those messages were the best ones to get. It doesn't seem like it in the videos besides the Fonset one, but I do tend to get emotional based on having this big of a following and this many people who believe in me and care about my content. And I've said it a lot since I hit 10K, but thank each and every one of you. Even if you didn't make one of those comments, even if you ended up voting and I chose the option that you didn't want, so it ended up going against what you chose, your vote mattered. I made the survey specifically because I wanted to try to cater more to what you people wanted, because it's just really cool doing this. One thing I'm not going to go too into in the origins of this channel thing is my original channel, which was because it was made in middle school and I still have shame, so I'm not showing you that stuff directly. But I never thought I would get this far. I thought I'd have a couple hundred subs and that was it, but each and every one of you does genuinely mean a lot to me, and thank you for getting me this far. And I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon, as long as I have this good and this supporting of an audience as you guys. And I'm tearing up too much now to be able to say more, and thankfully I'm kind of at the end of my rope with stuff to say. So yeah, that's it. Join me again later today for an actual Xenoblade video, and as always, until next time, this is Luxin, signing off. Which, ironically, I'm only now just realizing that I didn't say signing off in the outro to that video, so there's your signing off quota for the day. See you soon.